I suffocated to death while holding my 2 daughters in the thick smoke, but my husband claimed tens of millions for the fire and married his pregnant lover. I thought I would sink forever, but I was unexpectedly reborn. On the day my little daughter was born, I knew I had to change my fate in this life, protect my children and send those demons who coveted our lives into the abyss. I seemed to still feel the pain of suffocating in the thick smoke, but the doctor held the child in front of me and said, "Chin Jinha, start stitching now." I recognized this face. This is the surgeon who performed my second cesarean section. I can feel the skin and flesh on my abdomen being pulled, but I can't take care of it. I just stared at the crib where my little daughter was, and I actually returned to this day. In my last life, I had just returned home to recuperate after a cesarean section. Shannon found a gold medal confinement nanny to serve me, but on the 8th day after giving birth, when I couldn't get out of bed, he instructed the confinement nanny to light a fire at home. Then he stole my phone and locked me and my 2 daughters at home. He also set the smart door lock to anti-theft mode on his phone. No one outside could get in and no one inside could get out, but he turned off his phone and got on the plane saying he was on a business trip. When the firefighters broke into the house and the police contacted him, they could only notify him to collect the body. His crying echoed throughout the community. Hundreds of wreaths filled the entire community green area, saying they wanted to seek justice for me. In the end, they got 10 million in compensation and inherited the tens of millions of inheritance left to me by my parents. Before that, I watched my 2 daughters die in my arms, and finally I suffocated to death. I drifted near my home for several days and nights. Finally, before my consciousness disappeared, I only heard her ecstatically say to my mother-in-law, "Mom, I got the money. I can marry him now, and you will have grandchildren soon. God has eyes, let me do it again." After leaving the delivery room, I saw Shannon's family coming to meet me. "My wife, you have worked hard." Shannon held my hand tightly, looking at me with red eyes and seemed very moved. My mother-in-law also followed him, looking at me eagerly, and said to me, "Suhee, don't worry, we also love our 2 daughters." I glanced at them coldly. The doctor said I was tired and wanted to sleep. Shannon sent me to the VIP ward without saying a word. I closed my eyes tiredly. They thought I was asleep, but I was just reviewing everything in my mind. 3 years in college and 4 years after marriage, their family pretended so well. I suddenly remembered what my best friend Yiling said to me, "Phoenix men should not be married." He was right, it was just my fault that I didn't listen. At this moment, across the bed curtain, I heard the slight conversation between Shan-an and his mother. "Did your wife sleep? If she did she have a cesarean section? It was harmful to her health, but she spent so much money, and invited the best doctor to do the operation. She stayed in a single ward for thousands of yuan a night, but she ended up having a baby girl. It was really unlucky and a waste of money." "Okay, Mom, calm down. Isn't she pregnant? I went to create a file 2 days ago. You know they are in a hurry. When do you plan to do it?" Shannon was silent for a while. "I will do it when he is discharged from the hospital." I felt cold all over my body. He didn't do anything yet. It's useless to call the police. Others will just think I'm crazy, but I have to protect myself. After 2 hours, I pretended to wake up from a sleep, and said to Shannon while he was feeding me porridge, "You should cancel the confinement nanny you contacted before. I have booked a confinement center. She will come to pick me and the baby up from the hospital in 2 days. Shannon's hand trembled and he asked in a somewhat intense tone, "Why do you want to return the deposit after paying it? The service in the confinement center is good and more comfortable than at home. You can also save some trouble and rest assured that I will pay for it myself," I said lightly, but Shannon disagreed. "Xiaoku has been shouting for her mother every day these 2 days. If you take Xiao Ai to the confinement center, she will be heartbroken. She knows my weakness and must not want to see Xiaoku cry, but I have been prepared. I booked a suite. If Xiaoku misses me, she can also come and live with me." Shannon opened his mouth and wanted to find a reason to refute me, but he couldn't find it. I watched him frown and serve me dinner, and said with a heavy heart that he was going to get water. All night, he tossed and turned on the accompanying bed not far away, and slept restlessly. The next morning, Yiling came to see me with gifts. He liked the soft and white little AI very much and kept teasing her by the crib. He also said to me that although you didn't marry well, it was your 2 babies who were really lovable and you would be happy in the future. At this time, Shannon came in with fruits. When he saw Yilin dressed sexy and fashionable, his eyes lit up. Ching came. "What a coincidence. I bought durian. Do you want to eat some? I heard Suhee say that you 2 both liked it the most." But Yiling was very disdainful of Shan-an's obviously flattering attitude. The parturiente has just given birth and cannot be supplemented. She also needs to grow milk. You buy this kind of thing for her to eat. Are you afraid that she will recover well? Shannon was scolded and felt a little embarrassed. I didn't think so much. There was a silence in the ward for a while. I smiled and said, "Okay, Ching, ignore him. Aren't you here to see Xiao Ai?" He seems to be waking up soon. Sure enough, Xiaowai in the crib moved twice, and Yilin pulled his little hand with shining eyes. Shannon smiled and said, Qingqing, you like children so much, why don't you have one? The one you give birth to will definitely look like you and be very beautiful. In the past, I would only think that he was trying to please my friend in a humble way, but now, I clearly see the naked desire for Yiling in his eyes. Although Yiling's family conditions were not good, she worked very hard. She has always called herself a single aristocrat and played around in the world freely and wantonly. Unlike a good girl like me, she dresses fashionably, has a flamboyant personality, and is independent and sober. Such a woman would not even bother to look at a man like Shun, and seeing that Yiling had a stern face, Shannon naturally stopped asking for trouble and went out. I saw that there was no one around, so I called out her name, Qingqing. Well, Yilin looked up at me, but the words came to my lips but I couldn't say them. In my previous life, my parents died in a car accident a year after I got married. Shannon and Yilin were the only people closest to me. At that time I would tell Yilin everything, but now I'm not sure whether I should tell her or not. Maybe it's better not to tell her about my rebirth for the time being. After all, this kind of thing is not so easy to accept. It's nothing. I smiled. I just suddenly felt that it's good to be single like you, free and without burden. Yiling said helplessly, you have to dive into it yourself, what can others do? I nodded and suddenly asked him, Qingqing, what do you think will happen to Xiaoka and Xiaowai if I die one day? Why say such unlucky words? Yiling immediately started to spit, but I said seriously, I'm serious, if I really have an accident one day, please help me take good care of my 2 daughters. Yilin looked at me, the smile on her face gradually disappeared, and her expression began to become solemn. Chen, did you feel anything? I looked at her for several seconds and he chuckled, no, maybe it's easy to think too much after giving birth, after all, I'm also a person who just walked through the gates of hell. Yiling was relieved, breathed a sigh of relief and scolded, don't say such things in the future, but I know that my road is still dangerous. Shannon has already made up his mind to kill, even if there is no chance for the time being, he will still find a chance to attack me in the future. Do it again, I don't know if I can escape the disaster, and then send him into the abyss. 5 days later, the people from the confinement center drove to the hospital and took me and the child directly. I also went back home and took Xiaoka with me. Shannon was worried and said to me, I think I should live with them, otherwise you will drag 2 children alone, and your wounds are not healed yet, I'm afraid you can't bear it. In the past I would have been very touched by his gentleness and thoughtfulness, but now the closer he gets to me, the more creepy I feel. I refused without any explanation. I couldn't rest well without more people around. Shannon looked at me deeply for a while and suddenly said, Suhee, what happened to you in the past few days? You have never been so cold to me before. I ignored him and moved directly into the suite of the confinement center. Late that night I dreamed of the fire in my last life again. I dragged my broken wounds and moved hard on the ground. My voice was hoarse. I just hoped that someone could come to save my child, but nothing happened. I woke up from the dream in a cold sweat, but I saw a dark shadow standing beside my bed, holding my mobile phone. The faint light from the screen reflected on Shannon's face, which was so disgusting and terrifying. What are you doing? I screamed. Shannon was so scared by my roar that his phone almost fell to the ground. He hurriedly gave it to me in a panic. Put it back. No, I just think you've been in a bad mood recently, so I wanted to check your phone to see if something happened. Shannon came over and hugged me with a worried look on his face. After all, we are husband and wife. You can't handle it by yourself if you have something to do. I pushed him away expressionlessly. I'm tired, really tired. I'm serious. I just want to have a good rest. You go back first. Seeing that I was unmoved, Shannon could only leave, looking back every few steps. After he left, I immediately called the staff to come and check my room inside and out. I was relieved when there was nothing abnormal. Fortunately, I had set a new password for my phone a long time ago. When I turned on the screen, it happened to be a prompt that the password had been entered incorrectly for many times and the screen was locked for 5 minutes. I tossed and turned and couldn't sleep that night because I could feel that Shannon and the others were anxious. It was really that the woman outside was pregnant. The slut had been pregnant for at least 2 months. She might have been urging him. I really couldn't imagine a pregnant woman can be so cruel as to have someone kill his wife and daughter. I know that I have behaved abnormally in the past few days, but when I think of what happened in my previous life, I really can't cooperate with him in acting calmly. But the more I want him to stay away from me, the more restless they become. The next morning I went back to sleep and hadn't woken up yet, but I heard a commotion in the living room outside, mixed with Xiaoai's crying. I knew that you confinement centers are all taking black money and not doing serious things. The newborn baby was stripped naked. What if he catches a cold? What if he gets pneumonia? Can you take responsibility? I heard my mother-in-law shouting outside the door, and the confinement nanny on duty patiently explained, Auntie, we are massaging the baby, and you are lying with your eyes open. You are applying all these oils and ointments on my granddaughter. It will be terrible if they are smeared. You prepared these diapers and you cheated us at a high price. What kind of diapers cost 110,000 a pack? What kind of confinement meal is this? It's like cat food. Who can be full with just a little bit of it? You actually opened the window. Don't you know that you can't have air ventilation during confinement? You turned off the air conditioner for me too. The confinement nanny couldn't stand it any longer. It's July now. How can we not turn on the air conditioner? We open the window in the morning for ventilation. But my mother-in-law looks like a rogue. I don't care if you return the money. You must return it. 100,000 a month. I can still hear the sound when I throw it into the water. I dragged my sick body out of bed with difficulty and moved to the door of the room. I said in a deep voice, enough. I allowed them to do this. My mother-in-law and Shannon turned around to look at me at the same time. Okay. Turned out that Shannon was there too. He was happy to see his mother making such a fuss without saying a word. He stepped forward and tried to help me with some reproach in his voice. Suhee's mother is doing this for your own good. If you really want to do this for my own good, stay away from me. Don't think I don't know that your mother is deliberately looking for trouble, I replied coldly. But as soon as I finished speaking, my mother-in-law came up and scolded me. I gave you face, didn't I? You said we don't mind having 2 daughters. I can take good care of you when you go home. Why do you have to come to a confinement center? It's great that you pay for it yourself. I tell you, you married my son, and he has the final say on how to spend the money, not you. You can't help but reveal your true colors. The noise in my room finally attracted the attention of the person in charge of the confinement center. 2 managers hurried over to pull us apart and tried to persuade the mother-in-law in all ways. However, the old woman insisted that they return the money, otherwise they would call the police to arrest them and sue them in court. After 2 hours of verbal battle, the person in charge had no choice but to apologize to me. Ms. Chan, we will refund you the full amount. Please take your family back. If you continue like this, other mothers will be affected too. Shenan and his son were overjoyed and prepared to pack my things for me to go home. My heart was in a panic and I quickly called Yilin. Ching, can I stay at your place for a while sometime? No, what do you want to trouble you for? I will find an aunt to take care of us, mother and daughter, and I will give you the rent. Yiling was at work at this time. After receiving my call, she hurried over. What's going on? Shenan and his son huddled aside and didn't say anything, but they were still holding the suitcase and the delivery bag in their hands. The person in charge explained the general situation on the side, and Yilin's face suddenly turned cold. Please send 2 staff members to take us there. Yilin snatched my suitcase from Shenan and said to me firmly, let's go to my house. Maybe Yiling has always looked difficult to mess with. Although Shenan and his son had unfriendly faces, they didn't dare to come up and rob people again. I took Xiaoka and held Xiaoai, and followed Yiling back to the house she rented. Fortunately, she never treated herself badly. This house has 3 bedrooms and 1 living room, which is enough to live in. I temporarily contacted the housekeeping company, and invited an aunt to take care of me. After everything was settled, Yiling sat by my bed and whispered, just stay here with me and rest assured. I will never let that mother and son bully you. His protection and comfort to me at this time is like a life-saving straw for a drowning person. The pain that I had been holding in my heart for many days finally poured out, and I cried bitterly in his arms. Yiling hugged me helplessly and comforted me, saying, don't cry, don't cry. A woman who has just given up cannot be so sad. But what happened? Tell me honestly. Why did your relationship with Shanan's family suddenly become so bad? Do they dislike Xiaoai? I shook my head and said, no, he has someone outside and that woman is pregnant. He wants to abandon us. His family doesn't like their daughter at all. His mother wants to have a grandson, but she can't bear to give up the money on me. Yiling was shocked. What? He actually did such a thing? Damn it. He is eating gigolos and still dares to have an affair. Divorce. Damn it, tell me who that woman is. I'll tear them apart now. He gritted his teeth and said, but I can only continue. I continued to shake my head. I don't know, there is one thing I know. If I tell it, you may think I'm crazy, but please believe me, I won't lie to you. I'm not sick. Everything I said is true. Seeing my solemn face, Yiling gradually calmed down. You talk and I listen. I was reborn. I told them everything that Shenan and others did to me and my 2 daughters in the last life. When I talked about the most painful part, I couldn't help crying and gasping for breath. Yiling patted my back with a sullen face and said angrily, you beast, do you believe me? I held his hand tightly. I believe you. We have been in love for 20 years. I believe everything you say. He held me back. You are still weak now and can't stand the tossing. Just rest assured to finish the confinement with me, and then we will plan for the long term. In the following days, I have generally lived a stable life. Shenan and others contacted me frequently at the beginning and persuaded me to go home. Seeing that I refused to go back, I started to give up. Shanan's mother even started to spread rumors everywhere in the community and among relatives and friends, saying that I had cheated on Shanan, and Xiaoai was not his biological child, but the child of a wild man outside. I was afraid that they would discover the affair, so I took the child and hid away, and did not dare to go home. As for the evidence, it was that I secretly locked my mobile phone and did not show it to Shanan. There must be something fishy, but even with such outrageous rumors, there were still many people who believed it. These days my mobile phone was full of various messages, but I did not reply to any of them. Finally, Shen Onjian could not force me to tell him, and he finally could not hold back and called me. Suhee, I don't know what you did behind my back, but I admit it. Anyway, you are a proud daughter of heaven, and your family has never looked down on you. But I Shunen said on the other end of the phone, I have filed for divorce. You are the party at fault. Be prepared to leave the house with nothing. Why don't you have a chance to kill me? So you want to use this method to force me to let go. Abandon the property, I sneered and said. You're dreaming. Those are the inheritance left to me by my parents. The will clearly states that they are only given to me. The house, car and company, although you are using them, are all my things. Why do you want me to leave with nothing? But Shunen was relentless and said that if I didn't agree, don't blame him for doing something extreme and disregarding the father-daughter relationship. I thought of Xiaoka, a 5 or 6-year-old child. It is impossible for him to be locked up at home all the time. As long as he goes out, he may be spotted by Shunen. I was silent for a while and asked, where are you now? I made an appointment with Shun and to go to the court mediation court in the afternoon. It happened that I was out of confinement these 2 days and could move freely. I didn't tell Yiling about this. She is busy enough at work, and I have troubled her enough. If she gives enough money, it can exchange for the safety of our mother and daughter, which is not impossible. Anyway, he only wants money, and the property he knows of is only half of what my parents left me. The other half of it was kept by my parents in Hong Kong as a security fund, 500,000 per month, in an account set up in Xiaoka's name. No one in Shunan's family knew about it. After all, before I got married, my parents always said that they felt that Shunan and his mother were not very good, so the old couple kept something in reserve. At 2 p.m. we met at the gate of the court on time. Yiling sent me a message on my mobile phone asking me where I had been. He didn't see me when he came home from lunch break and was a little worried. I didn't reply to him for the time being, thinking that I would explain to him after the mediation was over. But just as Shunan and I were about to enter the court gate, his mobile phone rang. Shunan glanced at me, turned his back and took 2 steps, then began to walk under the tree and talked in a low voice to the caller. I took advantage of him not noticing and moved a little closer, hiding behind the trash can and listening. I am in the court now. He said he was willing to leave the house and give me all the money. It was my fault for not telling you in advance, but I didn't have a chance to do it. You can't hide how much you are pregnant. God, it can only be like this. He shouldn't lie to me. I know how much money he has. His mind is not that complicated and he's too timid to lie to me. Can't we make a big deal out of a small matter by not taking risks? What do you mean you'll do it when you get back? What do you want to do? What do you mean he won't let me go? Explain it clearly. What do you mean rebirth? Wait for you. You said he is reborn. Before Shunan turned around, I quickly stepped back a few steps and returned. To my car, I caught a glimpse of him looking at me in panic, and then immediately turned back. I pretended nothing had happened, but actually my hands were shaking. No one knew that I was reborn. They actually hid it so deeply. When I thought of my 2 daughters still at Yiling's house, my heart almost jumped out of my throat. I wished I could fly back right now, but I couldn't let Shunan see that something was wrong with me. Fortunately, Shunan came over quickly and told me that the company had an emergency, so I'd go back first, and we'd talk about the divorce in 2 days. I went to the bathroom and found that Yiling was drunk, but she was not very good at it. I thought to myself, I'm fine, but I can't stop thinking about it. After that, I smiled like crying. I watched Shunan's car leave, and I immediately got into my own car and rushed back to Yiling's house as fast as I could. Along the way, my mind was spinning rapidly. When did Yiling and Shunan get together? I remembered that on my birthday 2 years ago, Yiling drank too much at my house and rested in my guest room. Shunan also drank a lot and reeked of alcohol, so I drove him to the small room to sleep. Later, Shunan worked overtime every few days. At that time, Yiling was said to have a rich boyfriend, but he never told me the details. I was focused on the child and didn't ask much. Every time Shunan saw Yiling in front of me, he showed great interest, but was also very timid. I thought he had the intention but not the courage, but it turned out that Yiling had him under control. The more I thought about it, the more scared I felt. When I returned to his house, I saw Yiling sitting on the sofa as soon as I entered the door. Xiaoku was lying on his lap playing with the tablet, and the confinement nanny was sleeping in the room with Xiao Ai. Seeing me come back, Yiling smiled at me and asked, "Where have you been? Why didn't you reply to my message?" I helplessly threw my bag and changed my shoes. Shunan asked me to go for divorce mediation, but he stood me up again. It was time for the divorce. Yiling patted Xiaoku and told him to go play somewhere else. She went into the kitchen, poured me a glass of water, and handed me 3 white pills. Auntie said you went out in a hurry today, and didn't take the medicine the doctor gave you. Your lochia has not yet stopped. Don't be careless or you will have to suffer again. Yes, the doctor did prescribe me medicine to promote the excretion of lochia. It looks similar to the one he handed me, but I know it is definitely not that medicine. I took it and frowned. The pills are as big as my fingernails and I can't swallow them one by one. I went to the kitchen to cut them. Yiling wanted to go into the kitchen with me, but Xiaoka suddenly pestered him to turn on the TV. I shouted to him complaining about Shunan, this scumbag who has no responsibility. I quickly took out 3 calcium tablets from the medicine box in his kitchen and replaced them. Fortunately, I knew the layout of his house very well before, but at this moment, I saw a cardboard box hidden in the gas cabinet. I gently kicked the cardboard away with my foot and saw a whole box of black coal. Looking back at the 3 pills he gave me, I suddenly realized that they were sleeping pills plus charcoal. He only needed to wait until I fell asleep before he could send them away. My aunt successfully arranged for me to commit suicide in his house. I could pretend that my marriage was not going well. I was depressed and I couldn't think straight. He could drug me, so why couldn't I? I took the calcium tablets in warm water and ate them in front of him, frowning and saying, "You don't know how much I hate taking medicine. Please, Yiling, see me swallow it and breathe a sigh of relief." No, how can eating make the body healthy? I glanced at his belly calmly. My mouth had no taste. I went back to the room, pretending to charge my phone, and took out 5 tablets of misoprostol prescribed by the doctor. This thing promotes uterine contraction and is conducive to the discharge of lochia, but it can also easily cause pregnant women to miscarry. I took the pills into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. "The cream cake you bought for Xiaoka yesterday will go bad if you don't eat it. Let's finish it for him and don't waste it." As I said, I took the cake and prepared to cut it. Yiling was just waiting for me to fall asleep and didn't have time to care about so much. I sat in the living room and watched cartoons with Xiaoka. I crushed the pills swiftly and sprinkled them on the cake like powdered sugar. They were all white and I couldn't tell. Maybe it was because of the pregnancy, or maybe the plan was about to succeed, so I was in a good mood. Yiling was originally I am a person who can't resist sugar, but he was willing to eat cake with me at this time and he ate most of it. We ate and chatted at the same time, and nothing more than scolding Shunan and his mother. I have to say his acting skills are really good. After about half an hour I pretended to yawn and said, "I'm sleepy, so I'll go to sleep first. You should still go to work." Yiling nodded. "Okay, you go to sleep, but I'm a little busy today and may have to work overtime. There are no vegetables in the refrigerator. I'll ask my aunt to buy some dinner for you later." You and the child can rest assured at home. I will ask him to come back soon. It's time to do it. I smiled and nodded. Okay, you go and do your work. I'll go back to my room and pretend to sleep. I heard Yilin tell Xiaoke to watch TV well and not run around. She also asked the confinement nanny to coax Xiaowei to sleep and put him in the crib, urging him to go out to buy vegetables. Then I heard him go into the kitchen. 5 minutes later, Yilin came out of the kitchen and went straight out the door. I waited for a few minutes and after making sure that he would not come back, I immediately got up from the bed, ran straight to the kitchen, turned off the gas and quickly opened the window for ventilation. Fortunately, the charcoal had not burned yet, but was just a little hot. Then I immediately changed Xiaoke's shoes, picked up Xiaobao, and called a pair of good friends of my parents before they died, asking them to help me take care of the children first. I would assign them a nanny and would not trouble them too much. Fortunately, the older generation had a good relationship and felt sorry for Xiaobei, so they quickly agreed. After I sent the child over, I changed my clothes wearing a black coat and a black hat, and came to the only maternal and child protection hospital in the city. Pregnant women with biochemical abortions would undergo surgery on the second floor. Yilin's child was more than 3 months old, and even if she had a miscarriage, she would definitely have to have a uterine curettage. I walked slowly through the wards and finally at the door of a room, I heard Yilin's angry and painful voice. There's no one at home, you useless thing, I told you to go early, I was watching downstairs, why didn't you go? There was no doubt that he was angry with Shannon, and I didn't want to hear these excuses you made. Why are you still controlling me? Where is he now? I tell you he's run away now, he must have noticed it. I can't show up again, find a way to deal with him yourself, otherwise you will never see me and the child again. I don't care what method you use, I only look at the result. After listening to his call, I turned back to the nurse's station and said, hello. I took out a photo of Yiling and I and asked, can you please ask my friend, I just learned that he was in trouble, but he is in a bad mood and doesn't want to see anyone. I want to ask him how he is doing now. The nurse looked at the photo and understood and said, comfort him more. Her child has biochemical disease just now. Arrange for hospitalization. What's the reason? I asked, but the nurse was busy and a little impatient. Many young people nowadays have biochemical diseases, and there are various reasons. It may be lifestyle habits, it may be an accidental bump, or it may be a genetic problem. It's hard to say. Besides, his child is only 3 months old and it's not very stable to begin with. I understand that this means it is basically unlikely. After finding out about my drugging, I thanked her and left the hospital immediately. From the phone call between Yilin and Shannon just now, it seems that she still wants to hide this from Shannon. After all, what Shannon and his mother value most is their grandson and my money. Now they are so anxious to put me to death. It's also for this child. I have had 2 cesarean sections, and they know very well that I will not have another child. And if Yilin's child is gone, Shannon may not want to kill me so quickly. I found a hotel to stay in and ate. I ordered some things and thought about what Shannon would do next. Yilin had already said that he would not let me go. On the morning of the 4th, my cell phone rang, and the caller ID was Shannon. I picked it up and asked, what do you want to do? Stop pretending. Shannon sighed over there and said, I know you already know about Yilin and me and you hate us too. Just be honest. I don't want to kill you that much. Come out and we can discuss how to divorce and part ways in peace. I just want money. Don't worry about what I will do to you. Let's make an appointment in a public place. I agreed to talk. After all, the marriage is not finalized yet, and there must be a result. Since we can't avoid it, we will face it. Sure enough, Shannon asked me to meet in the lobby of a restaurant. Although there were not many people here, I could see the main road outside. It was easy to ask for help. When I arrived, he and his mother were already ready. I was in his, we sat down opposite each other, laughed dryly and said, tell me what you want. The mother-in-law raised her eyebrows and wanted to speak, but was stopped by Shannon. I know I was wrong, I'm sorry, but Suhee, you have to believe me, I really didn't want to do that. I was forced to do it and I had no choice. The mother-in-law muttered. If it weren't for my grandson, that kind of vicious and coquettish woman wouldn't be able to enter my house. Mom, Shannon glared at him. It seemed that he was quite protective of Yiling. I guess he was really in love with Yiling. I had to admit that Yiling's methods were good. The threshold of your family is quite high, I sarcastically said. You have to be beautiful, rich, obedient, and willing to give birth to a son for you. Otherwise you will kill her directly, right? Drink some drinks to calm down. Shannon said to me in a flattering way, I know it's not easy for you, but since things have already happened, it's like this, how about we both take a step back? Ching Ching told me that your parents left you some extra money, you are also hiding some property, right? In this way you give me all our current property, and then I promise not to bother you in the future, and I won't let Ching Ching embarrass you again, okay? I looked at Shannon's face, my hands itched, I loved you too, but feelings are hard to explain. Shannon pretended to be regretful and wiped his face anyway. Let's let each other go, okay? I pondered for a while, playing with my phone. Let me think about it. If I agreed to it right away, that would be really weird. But my mother-in-law didn't seem very satisfied with Shannon's arrangement, and she kept pulling Shannon's arm. Shannon had no choice but to pull him to another table to talk. Before going over, he said to me attentively, you haven't eaten yet, it's all because I just ordered. Yes, you eat and think at the same time. We won't disturb you and we'll wait by the side. You are probably staring at me while you wait. I look at the glass of orange juice in front of me with deep eyes. I don't know what's in it, but it's probably something that can kill me. If poison is put in the restaurant, the things will be cleaned up soon. Some restaurants don't have it, and it's hard to find surveillance evidence. As long as there is no evidence, even if others suspect, they can only be presumed innocent. If the dosage is not large, I may have an attack when I go back. He is my only relative. He said that I took pills to commit suicide due to postpartum depression. I can be cremated soon after signing. The mother and son are still whispering beside them. I can vaguely hear a few words. It's probably his mother. She wants him to take some of the money my parents left to me. I went over and took out my mobile phone and clicked on Yiling's profile picture. Shannon said that he wanted to reconcile with me, and the property split it in half. He also said that you were the one who forced me to do what happened before. After sending this message, I turned off my phone. Yilin has lost her child now and has lost her bargaining chip. If she loses control of Shannon again, she will go crazy. Soon Shannon's phone rang. I could vaguely hear Yiling's angry voice from here. Shannon quickly took his phone and found a quiet place to explain to him. His mother also hurried over to listen. Taking this opportunity, I put the cup on the opposite side, took the cup on the opposite side, and quickly poured half of the drink on the green plant behind the chair. When Shannon finally calmed Yiling's emotions, he came back and saw me standing up. I agreed to your request. Give me 2 days to sort out the assets and then we will divorce. I will take the children abroad and never see you again. I said to him. Shannon looked at me deeply, nodded woodenly, and before leaving I looked back at him again, only to see that he was looking at me expressionlessly, and the empty cup in front of the seat. His mother was yelling not to waste it, and drank the snacks I didn't touch and the 2 drinks of the 2 of them. The waiter waited by the side with some disgust, and waited for them to finish eating and took away the tableware. Yilin sent me a message saying, "Don't be so proud of me. If you are not proud, I will only be sad." That night, Shannon called me and yelled at me, "You dead bitch, you actually dared to hurt my mother. What is called being unreasonable but strong? I have seen it today." I laughed on this end of the phone. "What's wrong with your mother?" Shannon was breathing in unison on the other end of the phone, speechless. I recorded it. "Tell me carefully, what did I do to your mother?" She didn't dare to say anything when questioned. What could she say? She tried to poison me, but in the end I accidentally killed my own mother. I have never bought any illegal drugs. What about you? Can you withstand the investigation? I continued to ask. Shannon cursed fiercely and hung up the phone. He didn't dare to call the police, otherwise he would be the only one found out. But I didn't intend to let him go. I sent him the photo of Yiling's ward number that I took in the hospital yesterday. "Don't worry, your mother will not be alone. Your baby son has led the way for her. Doesn't she want to have a grandson?" Her wish came true half a year ahead of schedule. If you don't believe it, go to this ward in the Women's and Children's Health Hospital now to see if your baby Ching Ching has just had a uterine curettage operation. Shannon didn't reply, but I knew he could see it. I sent him a few more photos of Yilin that she posted on her social media account. There were photos of her in the bar. There was a large group of men and women partying in the bar. I asked him, "You two have been together since the year before last, right? Then do you know which handsome guys have been around him over the years?" "Yes, he was fine. Why did he get rid of his child and hide it from you? Is the child yours or someone else's? Did he make it clear? You are just a tool for him to make money from me, you idiot." I'm talking nonsense regardless of whether it's true or not. Shannon's mother just died, and he is emotional. Who knows what this kind of person will do? I can't miss such a lively scene. I got up from the bed, put on that outfit again, and went to the hospital. I saw several police cars driving in quickly, and the special police quickly went upstairs. The hospital was in chaos inside and outside. People were fleeing everywhere, and there were screams everywhere. They were saying that someone was holding a knife, someone was hacking people upstairs, and a girl who had just had a miscarriage was half dead. Not long after, Shannon was pressed down with bloodshot eyes, and Yiling was sent to the emergency room covered in blood. Expert doctors from other hospitals rushed in and borrowed the operating room of the Women's and Children's Hospital for emergency rescue. Shannon sent me to the VIP ward without saying a word, and I closed my eyes tiredly. "Hello, can I go see my friend later?" The young nurse recognized me and sighed. "Depends on the situation. I don't know if he can make it out alive." He didn't survive, but before his family arrived from other places, I was let in to see him for the last time because I proved that I was his closest and best friend. Yilin burst into tears when she saw me. "Why did you buy a bag of jewelry worth hundreds of thousands without blinking? I'm prettier than you. Why can't I? 20 years I envy you but also hate you." He talked to me intermittently for half an hour. He despises trash like Shannon, but he wants to snatch anything I have, not to mention that he can get my money by getting Shannon. His parents are divorced and no one cares. He has struggled alone in the big city for many years, but he still has to rent a house and is in debt. The luxury goods bought with loans cannot fill his vanity, but instead make him slide into the abyss step by step. Until he died, he thought I was just better than him and had a good birth. I left the hospital in the early morning to see my daughter. They were sleeping peacefully with their heads against each other. My uncle and aunt looked at me with some concern, as if they knew something was wrong, but they were considerate and didn't ask too much. Not long after, Shannon deliberately killed and murdered his own mother. He committed the crime openly and the circumstances were bad. He was sentenced to death and executed immediately. I don't want to see him, just like before we died in the last life. He didn't hesitate to come to see us. In the days to come, I have no intention of remarrying. I just want to live a stable life with my 2 daughters. Apart from life and death, everything is trivial. It's over.